Okay, so this is going to be a short video on working with dates in Excel. Excel uses what's called the 1900 date system, and I'll explain what that means in a second. But first, I've got today's date typed in here, February 21st, 2024. And let's say that I'm wanting to set up some type of an invoice or billing system, and I'm going to give folks 90 days to pay off their balances. So I can type in 90 here. And if I just do I create an addition formula, I can find out what 90 days is from today. So I'm going to say equals, click over here in D23, do a plus, and click in D24 where the 90 days is, and I'll hit enter, and there's my date that is 90 days from today, May 21st, 2024. So how does that work? Well, as I mentioned, Excel uses the 1900 date system. That means that January 1st, 1900 has a date, actually has a number of 1. So if I just type in 1900, it shows 1100, but I can change the format to a long date. And that was a Sunday in 1900, January 1st was. Okay, now, if I change this date format to general, you can see there's the number 1. Okay, so let me type in January 15, 1900. There's the date. But if I change this to general, there's the actual number associated with that date is 15 because the 1900 date system starts with 1. So if I go over here to today's date, February 21st, 2024, and change that to a general, the number that pops up is 45,343. So today's date is 45,343 days from January 1st, 1900. And the same with 90 days here. If I change that to general, the date comes up as 45,433, which is 90 days beyond the 45,343. And then I can just go ahead and format this back. Long date here and long date here. So that's how you can use dates in Excel for calculations, because every date starting with 1900, with January 1st, 1900, it has an associated value to that particular date. Okay, now I'm going to come back up here and continue with a couple other date tips. So I've got today's date here for days, weekdays, months, and years across. So if I just wanted to fill down and copy today's date into successive days of dates, I just use the fill handle here and just drag down, and you can see that there's a successive date. Tomorrow's date is February 22nd, Thursday, and so forth. And once it gets down to Sunday, it starts over again. Now, let's say I want to have a list of just weekdays. So now what I do is, there's 2 ways to do it. I'm going to do the first way is I'm going to fill down, which initially gives me the same as all days. But then if I come over here to this little autofill options button, I can click it, and I have a choice to change that to just weekdays. And by doing that, if you look, there's no Saturday and Sunday in this list. Okay, now let me show you the other way to do it. I'm going to undo. And this time, if I have Excel for Windows, I'm going to hold down the right mouse button when I drag down. If I have a Mac, Excel for Mac, I'm going to hold down the control key and drag down since Macs don't have right mouse buttons. So I do have a Mac, so I'm going to hold down the control key. If you have Windows, Mac for Windows, you just hold down the right mouse button and then drag down, and we automatically get the menu to pop up, and now I can choose weekdays. And there you go. So again, you can either just use the fill handle and then click the, let's go over here to months. If I just use the fill handle, I'll always get the autofill options button, and then I can change it. This time I'm going to go to months. And here you can see the 21st of each month is listed here. And then the other way, if you don't want to use the autofill options button, just hold down the control key if you have a Mac, or hold down the right mouse button if you have Windows as you're filling down. And then you can choose, in this case, I'm going to choose years. So those are a few tips on using dates with fill or making calculations. See you soon.